GCSE physicists, and welcome to my video on background radiation and uses of radiation. Now this content is triple only, so if you're combined, you're super welcome to watch this video if you're interested in radiation, but you don't need to know this for your exam. If you want any more information on this topic, remember to check out my resources on the My EdSpace website, and if you fancy joining my live lessons, have a look at the link in the description of this video. So we're going to start today with background radiation. Now these are our main sources of background radiation, okay? So lots of people think that all background radiation comes from like nuclear testing and nuclear weapons fallout, stuff like that. It actually doesn't. This is actually less than 0.1% of our background radiation. Most of our background radiation comes from naturally occurring radioactive elements that we find in the earth, okay? A lot of them actually comes from radon gas, which we find inside rocks. That accounts for about 50% of our background radiation dose. Other sources of background radiation include cosmic rays, which come from the sun, and medical uses. There's lots of medical uses for radiation. So if you have an X-ray or a CAT scan or something like that every year, you are exposing yourself to radiation. Now, there are some professions that might get a slightly higher dose of background radiation, okay? People like airline pilots or airline stewards and stewardesses, because they are travelling high up in the atmosphere, one of the great things the atmosphere does for us is it protects us against cosmic rays from the sun. If you're spending a lot of time high up in the atmosphere, in a plane for example, then you might be going to receive a slightly higher dose of background radiation. What that's done is that is monitored over the year. And generally for pilots, if they hit their dose of background radiation for the year, that's it, no more flying. Now we measure radiation dose in sieverts, which is often given as SV. Now, 1 sievert of radiation is actually quite a lot of radiation. So quite often, you'll get given radiation doses in millisieverts. Now, let's talk about the medical uses of radiation. So there are 2 main medical uses of radiation. That is the exploration of internal organs, and that's the destruction of unwanted tissues, which is sometimes called radiotherapy. We're going to start by talking about the exploration of internal organs. So what we do is we inject a radioactive tracer into a patient's bloodstream, or they can drink or eat something that's got a radioactive isotope in it. What this does is it releases a radioactive isotope into the person. It might be into their bloodstream or it might be into a certain organ. Which tracer you use generally depends on what you're trying to target. But you get radioactive particles. Let's say, for example, this is an artery, which have radioactive particles moving through this artery. They are releasing radiation. So if you've got a detector, they will be detecting the radiation moving through the artery, and we can build up a picture of the inside of someone's body. So this is how we use radiation to explore internal organs. We can also use very high energy radiation to destroy unwanted tissues. For example, if we've got cancerous growths or something like that that we want to destroy the cells, we can use really high energy radiation. Because remember, one of the dangers of radiation is that it can either mutate or destroy cells. It destroys cells if it delivers a lot of energy to them. So that's why we use really high energy radiation when we're destroying unwanted tissues. Now, there are risks associated with both of these medical uses. Both of them can cause damage to healthy tissues. So we tend to consider the risks before saying, yes, we're going to go straight ahead with either of these courses of action. Now, I hope you found this video useful. If you want some worked examples, or if you want some questions, or if you just want the notes, remember to check out my resources on the My EdSpace website. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel, and if you've enjoyed this video, I think you'd really enjoy my live lessons as well. So if you check out the link in the description, you can see about joining my live lessons. I'll see you in the next video. Take care till then.